Another technology that holds a lot of potential we are going to discuss is direct energy deposition. You know, आप लोगों ने शायद कई बार वेल्डिंग प्रोसेस देखा होगा, वेल्डिंग.
బయట కొంచెం బయట ఉంటుంది.
Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. So, in the direct energy deposition technique, I think most of you might have seen thermal sprays, normal TIG, MIG welding. The idea is very straightforward. You know, you have like a in electron or laser beam metal printing, you have like a laser beam or an electron beam being focused, and you're slowly starting to add in a small stream of metal powder, or maybe a metal wire feed is there, which actually gets melted and gets deposited. So just like हमने पहले जो देखा प्लास्टिक का 3D प्रिंटिंग, जिसमें वो लोग प्लास्टिक का फिलामेंट फीड करके मेल्ट करके लेयर के लेयर ऊपर चढ़ाते हैं, इन द सेम वे you can do the same thing with the metal feed of maybe by powder feeding, or maybe by metal wire feeding, which can be melted directly and deposited over another layer, and you can actually 3D print a component. So this can be by, you know, you have like a electron beam, and then you have feeding of the wire. There is another way also possible that wire can be coming from the core itself also, and there is an arc happening which melts the metal and deposits it on the surface. Excuse me. And another thing is you have a powder stream that is actually coming from the nozzle, and you know, the beam, electron beam actually melts it and it lays a layer. Then you also have something called radially symmetric powder injection nozzle and coaxial powder conical nozzle, which actually feeds the metal powder. So the difference between this left one and the right one at the bottom side is, in the left one you actually have just two pipes which are just flowing the metal powder from, and they are depositing that metal powder over here at the bottom. But in the case of you know, coaxial powder stream or conical nozzle, what happens is you actually have like a powders are getting mixed over here at the tip, and there is an inert gas flowing with the metal powder, and there is a laser beam which is actually making the process happen. And you can also have like multi-powder material possible in this. So as you can see over here, this picture is from e-beam melting in one of the DMG Mori additive manufacturing machine. I think it's 130 series or 65 D65 series or something like that, where you have a material like Inconel or certain material in the core, and outer is made out of you know, maybe stainless steel 316 or 3 or 4 grade. And both of this material are actually fed in form of powder, and that's how the entire structure gets made. Another potential application of 3D printing is in concrete 3D printing, in architecture and civil work. You know, you can, NASA is currently trying to develop houses on Mars with the help of 3D printing. There are houses made all over the world. These are some of the housing community 3D printed in Mexico. And there are some of the ideas where you can actually 3D print the entire house. So some of the future aspects, you know, you can also make bridge structures that are 3D printed. And there are a lot of such exciting technologies that is possible. The last one, I guess, is the food 3D printing. So this is one of the sample food 3D printer we had actually made for one of the client. And the idea was you could create custom structures out of paste-like material, and then fill in the food fillings that you want inside. There are many such international machines available, and they can do such works. These are some of the examples of the chocolate 3D printer, where you can actually 3D print chocolate, and they look really wonderful. So just to give you a brief overview, I guess that was pretty much it in terms of the application. And just to give you a little bit brief about our machines, this is our Meraki F300, which is an fused deposition modeling machine. And the right hand side is the one that is LIPS one, light induced planar solidification LCD printer. And I think this is the one that I had showed you the video. Just a minute, I'll just do that. So there you go. So this video is actually from our LIPS one machine that is LCD based. You have LCD screen, and it allows the light to pass through and allow the photopolymer to actually cure. So these are the two machines of ours, and we actually have some of the machine installed in few colleges, and we also have one of our machine in Plasma Research Laboratory, PRL. We are still working in developing some other printers as well. We have a small version of the LCD printer coming up. We also have liquid deposition modeling printer coming up very soon. I haven't talked much about it, but there are a lot of potential in this technology, and there are a lot of challenges also involved. You know, the whole idea behind starting this U3Ds company was to develop a 3D printing technology that is more exceptional, acceptable by the Indian industry. It has to be cost effective. It has to be viable. It has to be user friendly. That's the most important part of all. This is something we always try to work on. So I think that was the end of the seminar, or webinar rather, I would say. And let's start with the questions. I guess there are a lot of questions that are popping up right now, I guess. Just a minute. So I just stopped the presentation over here, and we can have in all the questions, please. Okay. Okay. So actually, the first one, I guess, what I can see is, can we go for 3D printing of biocomposites? What are your suggestions in this regard? Yes, absolutely. So as you can see over here, I actually have a photograph of this one. Just a minute. So as you can see in this image, you actually have 4 different materials, and the idea behind 4 different materials, or you can have n number of different syringes. You just need a suitable controller for it, though. It would be the most challenging part of all. But you can actually deposit one layer of particular material, and then you can cure it with another material, and then you can put in the third syringe, which is of a different material. So yes, you can do multi-materials as well as composites in bio 3D printing. There are surely challenges, but we need to tackle it. Depending on the application, we need to think about what might be the solution. Sir, can we print a car? Yes, you can print a car. There are people who have printed a car, but it would be one hell of a tedious job to do. Just a minute. So, the question is, we have seen more advantages over limitation. Then why 3D printing is not taking over? Yes, that's a very good question. So the 3D printing is not able to take over is because of the materials limitations, as well as there is also other size constraints and other cost-effective factors are also there. But I would say the most important factor is the material. When you talk about traditional forging techniques, forging is being developed for last 8,000-9,000 of years. Can you imagine a technology that is being developed since 8, 9,000 of years, and to a technology that has just been surfaced in last 5 or 6 years, maybe 10 years at the max. Can you, there's a huge comparison. So yes, there are a lot of challenges, but the problem lies in the material aspects of it. You cannot 3D print pretty much everything. You can 3D print to a very limited number of materials. And industry does not thrive on just selective one or two materials. Industry needs a very vast range of materials. So that is one of the challenges that we are working on. And people are having solutions. And there are many solutions coming up in polymer line. Metals also, there are solutions coming up. Until now, copper 3D printing was not at all possible. But, lately, people are doing SLM 3D printing of copper as well. So yes, it's something challenging. People are taking care of it. Are there any intellectual property laws for 3D printing technology? Absolutely, absolutely. There are laws for this, and I'm not an expert on this point. Whatever we have shown you today, some of the technologies are pretty much open source. Some of them are surely patented. And I have actually made sure that I give them credit. Like for Lawrence National Laboratory, so they did 3D hologram projection process, and we did talk about it a bit. So giving them credit is something we can do right now in presentation, but you can get it patented. You have a good idea, you can get it patented, but right now the Chinese market tends to copy pretty much everything, so it is very difficult to control these things. One of the slides you have discussed about fatigue testing for 3D printing parts. So sir, can you suggest how to find some standard data of 3D printing material for fatigue analysis point of view? I would say look into some research papers. That would be a good start point. As of now, I don't have any research, but I would suggest you to drop me email or something. I think to all the participants, we are going to send in a mail with my personal email ID. So if you have any doubts or any questions, we can surely discuss it. Just a minute. Let me see. There exists any 3D printing technique for ultra microscopic level, that is molecular level? Yes, absolutely. So somebody is asking, there exists any 3D printing techniques for ultra microscopic level, that is molecular level? So the answer is yes. I think you might have heard of a term called MIMS, that is micro MEMS or something, micro electric mechanical systems or something like that. And for such kind of applications, yes, there are companies in Germany who are doing this kind of 3D printing. I haven't talked much about it, but yes, it is possible. So manufacture multiple components by 3D printing at the same time. Is it possible? Yes. So someone is asking, sir, can we manufacture the multiple component by 3D printing? So yes, to some extent nowadays it is possible, but it is difficult. It is still under development. There are a lot of development process happening for this particular point. In one of the slides, I have seen that. So somebody is actually asking, so what are the ways to reduce the cost of such manufacturing? My answer to you is, it's a time-dependent process. Mobile phones were pretty expensive back when they were first made, and eventually now it has come to a very cost-effective point. So over the period of time, the cost curve is definitely going to drop eventually. It's just a matter of time, and the more the raw materials are being explored and the way of manufacturing the raw materials are getting cheaper, the cost of 3D printing will also go much lower. Okay, so people who actually want to contact me or want to get anything, get any contact information, just a minute, I'll just put up a note. Hold on. So I have put up my email ID and my phone number as well, where you can reach us. Santosh sir, hello.
Yes, Ronak sir.
Uh, I think we have covered a lot of questions people had.
Yeah.
I think people can actually unmute their mic and also ask if they have any questions, other questions if they want.
Sir, in that case, it will be a chaos. I think we should restrict
Okay.
that. They have your email ID and you have your personal phone also. Better
Right.
they contact them because it will be a big challenge to control the chaos.
Right, I agree to that.
22 people in the group now. So and you have almost addressed all the answers to the query, the participants. So I think we can conclude the session. And first of all, Ronak sir, thank you very much. Wonderful presentation. Your presentation was so nice. There are a lot of videos, only images, no text, and even you used to zoom in the presentation, so that made the presentation even better. And thank you so much for collecting such a nice information and sharing with our faculties and students. Anyway, there are a lot of other participants from outside Bavaria also. So thank you so much, Ronak sir, again. For your wonderful.
I really thank you for giving me this opportunity. And anybody from academic field, if they have any questions or if they want to get any understanding about any process, or if they want to work on something and they want good ideas, or they want to work under me or something like that, I pretty much I'm open to everybody when it comes to sharing the technology and talking about the technology. We are helping everyone as much as we can. Anybody, even in the thing is not just limited to 3D printing. So me being a material science engineer, people can also ask me anything related to other technologies such as tribological applications, alloy and metallurgy topics. If they want to talk to me about electrochemistry, corrosion, testing of materials, a lot of other questions, whatever they might have, feel free to contact me anytime. You can drop me an email. That would be the best thing. I pretty much monitor my email very frequently. Contacting me by email will actually leave a trail also for me to keep tab of things, because often, when you are very busy, this happens very frequently that, you talk to somebody and you are in middle of a meeting and you're like, I'll call you back later, but you actually forget calling them back. But email is always the best option to reach out to. You can always, for 3D printing, anything related to 3D printing, you can contact us on utpal3dsystems@gmail.com. We do a lot of research and development every year in the field of 3D printing. Rather than focusing more on the business, we actually focus more on 3D print, research and development, because 3D printing technology is it is in such a premature stage that we are trying our best to make it come ahead in any possible way. We are trying to explore so many different fields and so many different applications and so many different ways to tackle those challenges. So yes, it is surely very challenging. It's surely on premature stage, but it's fun to work with.
Okay, Ronak sir, already we have taken your help in the past, in one of the 3D printing of concrete, and you have helped us a lot, and I'm sure even the participants whomsoever have any kind of query, the way you have told your specialization areas, I'm sure students and faculties will be taking maximum advantage of that. Thank you so much, Ronak sir. And at the outset, I would like to thank our founder, president and chairman, Shri Jagdishbhai D. Patel sir, for the constant inspiration to arrange such kind of events. I am also thankful to our honorable CMD, Shri Dhruv Patel sir, respected our campus director, Shri S.K. Patel sir, And thanks are due to our principal, Dr. Pallavi Agrawal. She's also a mechanical engineer, and she suggested to initiate a talk on 3D printing. Thank you, madam. I am also thankful to my colleague, Dr. Twinkle Doshi. She is a joint director in the institute here. And I'm also thankful to Dr. Hilisha. She is my colleague as a Dean of R&D. Thanks are due to my all colleague HODs, Dr. Lalit Thakur, Dr. Pritesh Makad, Dr. Ramesh Mewada from Mechanical Engineering, and Dr. Avni Vasant from Computer Science Engineering. Thank you all. And last but not the least, all the participants. Ronak Bhai, there were 245 registrations, and I don't know how many could join. It seems that the Google Talk has a limitation of 166 or 167, but I hope whomsoever has registered must be able to join. And if they could have not be able to join, I feel sorry about them, because this is what the platform we have, the Google Talk, and we don't know the limitations of that. However,
that's okay. If it is required, we can always do a second webinar again. No harm in that.
Yeah.
Always do that. And there is also one more thing. I actually like to thank my team, Dhruvil,
Yes.
Hardik, Meet. They have done a wonderful work, because yesterday we were all together, working together, preparing the PPT. As we are all working from home right now, and we are limited by the resources, but that's fine. We took care of almost everything we had. And lastly, I would like to ask all the people who have attended this webinar, take care. The situation outside the houses are terrible because of the COVID-19. So everybody should take care, and that's the last message I have for them.
Thank you so much, Ronak, for your wishes and wonderful presentation. And I am very much thankful to your team also for the entire session, coordinating the session in proper way. Even your colleague used to answer in chat also, so that is good.
Right.
You can concentrate on your presentation. Thank you.
Correct.
Okay, so thank you all for your presence, and we conclude the session here. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ronak Bhai, again.
Thank you very much.